interested in seeing. Yeah, that's I actually just answered that thread said that exact same thing, right?
To AFK.
The timing here, right, is saying the whole Bitcoin thing, having a company illegally use your computer to make themselves money while damaging your hardware, caused people to cancel subscriptions. So ESA gave everybody a free month. Hey, that's great. But if you're using it for anti-cheat, or in some cases, as he's saying, anti-organer, because that's kind of the most pervasive one, and now Valve has taken care of this problem, the threat to ESA. Why worry about it? Because it's trust, man. It's a trust thing. And it wasn't. Yeah, I don't want to go down that. I don't want to go down that. I posted my thoughts on that, but it's a trust thing, and it's also the way it was responded. If they had said, "This is horrible. I cannot believe this happened on my watch. We are so sorry. Never happen again. Here's how we're going to handle it." That's one way it could have happened. It could have also been they could have said, "Hey guys, we just found out this was going on and told us." Somebody had to dump their memory from the client and say, "Hey guys, this thing looks weird to me. Can you figure out what it's doing?" And we had to figure out that they were doing it. They didn't even come forth when it had been obviously suggested by some of their leadership for almost a year, 8 months or so. So Torvald did as much damage control as he could. I think Torvald's a good guy. I genuinely believe that Torvald's a good guy. I think he was fed a crap sandwich, and if you've got to eat a crap sandwich, it's just not going to be enjoyable, no matter which way you do it. I don't think they delivered it in the impact that they could have, and I documented my thoughts on that. So if you guys just Google my alias, or there's a thread I put out there and what my thoughts were, that'll sum up those, so I don't kind of repeat myself. I don't think Torvald would do that. I think he's friends with LP Kane and those guys. He wouldn't want to, as we've seen, as far as we know, those guys haven't. LP Kane, I guess he can't fire because they're 50-50, which is why they say the only ship that doesn't sail is a partnership of 50-50, because situations like this. But I don't think they fired Jaguar if that's who they're tossing under the bus. So they're all still there. They're all still generating revenue, albeit a good bit less for the next few months and possibly less the months after. But they could have handled it better. And I think Torvald could have handled it better, but I do realize that LP Kane's trolling just made it that much worse. When people have damaged hardware and he's telling them their melted graphics cards went to a good cause, that's salt in the wound. And yeah, I said this earlier. Matchmaking, I don't think they were trying to kill it, but I think matchmaking was a way to introduce competitive play to people that didn't want to pay. If they got 128 tick servers, they have an anti-cheat that maybe they're taking more serious now, and they have the ability to host LAN events that are massive with money and organization and team and site registration. They could do that. They could be League of Legends equivalent of Riot. They could be for Global Offensive. So not just make the game. It's going to go free to play, not just this weekend, but it's going to go free to play long term. That's going to happen. It could be that way, and if that's the case, ESA may have a massively reduced future. And actually, I think when there was a thread, LP Kane said something like better than they do. Yeah, there's going to be like 800 threads on this. Yeah, I'm not gonna find. But basically, when they announced matchmaking, LP Kane said, "Well, we'll just have to continue to make deliver their game better than they do," which is true. They were certainly doing that, but if Valve catches up, you don't know. ESA hardly puts up any money in the prize pot. They profit heavily. Valve gives way more back. I don't. So, is ESA profitable? I'm sure they are. They wouldn't still be here if they weren't making money. Are they putting a lot of money in the prize pot compared to their revenue just based on simple math, not counting advertisements and sponsorships? Probably not a huge percentage. I don't think that they're, and I'm just going to use example numbers, so don't think this is what they're making. But if they were making 100K a season, I don't think they're putting 90K of it, 90% of it into the pot. So maybe it's more like 25%, but there's not an equivalent prize pot being offered from Valve. So I don't think you can say that Valve's giving back more if you're going to use dollars as the metric to measure that. And I don't think it's 20K. I think it's probably closer to 10, 12, 14, $7 or $8 a month plus the 14, or what did I pay? $12 league fee. I think people, they do the simple math on that, but you're also forgetting that there's advertisements, right? Someone's paying for this right here. In this case, it's BenQ. I think their news site's got a bunch of ads on it. Their BenQ ad there. And you saw all the ads that they played at their LAN event. So there's other sources of revenue. They're putting in more than Valve is. Valve is not having a tournament for $90,000 in a season. They're just not. You couldn't argue with the numbers there. But I don't know the percentage that ESEA is. So. That's actually a great point. Simply Alex Green. No, I didn't say 8K premium users. I thought it was 14 or 15, but I guess I wasn't considering Euro. Raffles, that could be the case. It could be all the money from the league fees go in there. But the question was, something about they're not putting their profits in, or that they're too profitable. Too profitable is a term I don't like. If you're going to build a business, more power to you to make money. Cool with that. There's just different ways to do. You prioritize things differently. If you're in it to make money, maybe you take 90% of the profits and 10% you put back. If I were to have a league and I made 100K, I could guarantee you the percentage that would go back into the community would be higher than something like ESEA is doing. But I'm driven by things that are different than ESEA, so it's a little bit different to say. But that was what the earlier comment was something along the lines of their profit. What they're making is too much, almost, is what the comment was. But to compare that against Valve made the game, so that's their contribution. They're not putting money in it in the ways that we're seeing. They're supporting it and they're patching and updating it, and that all has cost in a resource and human capital perspective. They're not hosting $1 million tournament. So if you're going to use dollars as who's giving more back to the community, I think numerically I'm probably doing more than Valve just in LAN events, giveaways, tournaments, whatever else. Well, Raffles, there's profit there, dude. They wouldn't be in business if there was no profit. I'm not good at math, but let's assume they have 15,000 users, right? And it's $8 a month, 120K a month in revenue. Revenue, not profit. What do you think their cost for servers are, and a site and admins? I guess if you took the humans out of it and you just counted up their expenses, they're not making 120K in profit, right? Maybe it's 40K, maybe it's 90K per month. I don't know, but there's a profit being made, or they wouldn't be around. Yeah, 50-50. I think people are okay with 50-50. If you did 51-49 to the community, you could then say the majority of the profits go back to the community, right? If you're a marketing major, it's a nice way to spin it. But yeah, I mean, it really depends on what's driving you. If you're being driven by the need to make money, it's different than if you're being driven as, I want to do something good for the community. I like the game. I love competition. I'm going to encourage it. I'm going to put 80% in, and 20% will pay my bills. It's a different driving factor. C bronze. That's an opinion. I think the people who run it, some of them aren't my favorite people. I'll put it very, very nicely in that way. And I can tell you, Alex Green, the servers do not cost that much. As somebody that works in the server, virtualization, storage, networking, IT field, they don't cost 120 grand a month, even co-located in facilities. That they're not. I can tell you that for sure. Yeah, I don't think the admins get paid or the news writers get paid much. Heather never told me what she gets paid, but she said it's kind of per article, um, which is a good model because you get paid for what you produce. But I doubt that you or Sapphire are going to retire on your income from ESCA. That's probably a better way to say it. Their product, yeah, I guess, Sebron's. I'm curious. How would you define their product? What would you say their product is that you think pretty poorly of? Because if you said their product is customer service, I would probably agree. If you said their product is like a pug system with stats, I would say the product's pretty good. ESCA is. I don't know if they're being sued. Actually, what's that guy's? Was it Jackals? Had a IC3. There it is. I wonder whatever happened to this. Hope I don't get banned for bumping it. So yeah, they used their anti-cheat client to mine for Bitcoin without telling their end users. They damaged some hardware in the process. They're kind of eating crow from it. I don't know if people are suing or not, but there's definitely some legal. I mean, I'm sure their lawyer made more the past month. Whether or not they're going to get sued is a different question. I would agree with that, C. Bronze. If ESCA was run by someone else, it would probably be bigger. They would probably have more of a focus on quality, but it's different. If you judge them purely based on being a businessman, that means that they generate profit, and that's different than running a great product because they love the players, the community, and the league. Is different. Chris, is $120? Was that the cost of the card? Or did they like say we did $120 of damage? Like, is that a $500 card that he only got 20% of? Curious. And T-Man, so I don't know if I don't think I have the client loaded now, but the terms and conditions of the client that you agree to is that it's going to use your computer. It's kind of very broad. So if there is or isn't a legal case for individuals to make against ESCA, that's one thing. If what they did is a federal crime in building a kind of botnet, that's something else. And if that's the one that would cost them more. If there's some class action suit for some ruined video cards, that's probably not as big a deal as Uncle Sam and a district attorney knocking on your door. That's the one that's going to cost you money in legal fees. And I would agree, CB. I think some people there don't love the community. They don't. They see the community looking down. They don't see the community as a peer, and they're not trying to like bring the community up. They're kind of like, let me push the community down so that I feel like I'm sitting that much higher. It's just, again, it's a different thing that drives them. They're probably driven by money. I can't say they are because I can't speak for what's in their hearts, but if they're driven by the love of the community, they have a different. Their actions and their intentions would be wildly different. Okay, so they did some kind of depreciation value. That's interesting. At Quark, the community does have. So this is interesting. Have you guys ever seen the movie Remember the Titans? I'm trying to remember what the line is. Remember the Titans. There it is. You guys ever seen Remember the Titans? It's a great movie if you haven't seen it. If you're a football fan, it's a good movie. So there is a quote in this movie. I'll just play this clip.
All right, man, listen. I'm Gary. You're Julius. Let's get some particulars and just get this over with, all right?
Particulars?
Yeah.
No matter what I tell you, you ain't gonna never know nothing about me.
Hey, listen. I ain't running any more of these 3-a-days, okay?
Well, what I got to say you really don't want to hear, because honesty ain't too high up on your people's priority list, right?
Honesty? You want honesty? All right, honestly, I think you're nothing. Nothing but a pure waste of God-given talent. You don't listen to nobody, man. Not even Doc or Boone. Shiver push on the line every time, man. You blow right past them. Push them, pull them, do something. You can't run over everybody in this league. And every time you do, you leave one of your teammates hanging out to dry. Me in particular.
Why should I give a hoot about you? Huh? Or anybody else out there? You want to talk about a waste? You the captain, right?
Right.
Captain's supposed to be the leader, right?
Right.
You got a job?
I have a job.
You been doing your job?
I've been doing my job.
Then why don't you tell your white buddies to block for Red better? Because they have not blocked for him worth a plug nickel, and you know it. Nobody plays, yourself included. I'm supposed to wear myself out for the team? What team? No. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look out for myself.
Here comes the line.
Mine.
See, man, that's the worst attitude I ever heard.
Attitude reflect leadership, Captain.
That's the line right there. Sorry I put you guys through a minute to get to the 4-second line there. Attitude reflects leadership, right? So people say the community is shit. Well, who are they looking up to, right? Who's the community see as the leader of CSGO, right? They look at somebody like LP Kane, and they reflect that attitude. So it's hard to say that the community is shit and full of idiots, because I genuinely don't believe the majority of the community is that way. I've seen them they're not that way to me. So I know that they're genuinely good people in the community, but when you have a league that not only do they encourage trolling, it's almost at the heart of the league itself. It's very, very difficult to pin the community being the way they are on the community just being that way. Like, oh, you're just crappy. This is a terrible community. It's the internet. There's going to be those people, but to see it in the percentages we see it on ESCA, I think has something to do with reflecting the leadership of the league. So that's my opinion. And I'm curious, is the prize pot, so this was a question I had. The prize pot, is that this thing? So this is an ad, so I don't know if they cycle somebody else's logo in here. The $90,000 prize pot, is that for all games? Because I think first place for CSGO on the $80,000 prize pot was only $17K. So I was curious what the game breakdown was. The horses they rode in on. I don't know, man. If they're riding in on horses, they're not spending the money that they're making well. You'd have a nice car if you earned that kind of coin. And I accept new people. If you guys have ever seen me stream, if somebody says, hey, it's my first time in ESCA, you will not see me to troll them. I will try to help them. But I think the community accepts new people when they see other people accept new people. And if somebody comes on the forums and they post something because they don't know, and they get banned from ESCA by ESCA leadership, who then trolls them, it's almost like, hey, this is the model that you should be operating under. So I personally will not do that. I accept new players. I like new players because new player to me means someone that may play competitive, which means more teams, which means more events, which gives me the opportunity to play LAN events more. And that makes me happy. So there's a direct impact on me. And I think that's how some of the community should think. If they're going to be selfish, realize that there's a benefit to more people playing the game that you love. Yes, you're right. Simply Alex Green. There's free to play is going to come. So it's free to play this weekend. You'll see people that have never played the game try it. Hopefully they end up buying it. The game is very likely to move to a free to play model. What they do with the money is anybody's guess. They could take it and do it at the Invitational. Not this year. Next year is what I was told. We'll see CS:GO be a big feature event, and maybe that's what they take the prize pot toward, or the revenue model feed into the invitational. Let's see what we got here. Oh, cool! I'm up top. Steam ID, it starts with 0, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is one of the people that apparently got banned, right? Does not let you put in your ID if it's been VAC'd for that game. So I can't play 1.6, but I can play something or Go. And then he'll beat you on stream 1v1. That's good. Yeah, kind of sore. I guess you're probably not watching the stream because I kind of explained how it is a threat. And it is a threat. Definitely is a threat. Yeah, missing the point of why it's a big deal. LP Kane celebrating. It's a beautiful Friday. And that's the question that we want answered, so no answers there. I don't know. Apparently, everybody in the community is 73 years old. I don't know why they call everybody kid. And I guess kid, you can use it as a way to talk down on people. That's probably the correct answer. Where'd my teammate go? And yeah, Raffles, to your point earlier, people can be that way towards each other in all games. Like I said, it's the internet. You're going to have it, but the level and the intensity of the trolls in ESEA, I think, is a little different than what should be considered the norm. And also, in a lot of instances, the trolls are people that can ban you, and that's an interesting model.